those of you who are just tuning in, brand new listeners, I want to let you know, if you should tune in at the beginning of this broadcast and you hear music, always understand and know that I start my broadcast off with music. It's a good way, to enter in, get everybody mellow, because it's not just me talking for 2 hours. I like to break up the dialogue with a little bit of music. And, the sister who programmed the music, Sister Mina, she's excellent. I like to, debut her skills and her choices of music. Excellent choices. Even though that was mine right there. That was a sister by the name of Aya. Yeah. I'm doing this broadcast today on Memorial Day. And, I thought to myself, I said, I don't want to believe it, but I had no other choice to believe that a lot of Negroes are really celebrating this. A lot of niggas are just celebrating this Memorial Day thing. Like a bunch of good remote mind controlled niggas. Just celebrating it. Just, barbecuing, feet up, it's a holiday to them, And niggas, we won't catch them barbecuing on a, off Saturday or something like that. It's got to be on Memorial Day. Everything got to be done and, in line with this society. And that's why, niggas love this society. Hey, it's all good, Just a lot of remote mind control. Ego. Ego and pride. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight, I should say. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is State of Mentel Radio. And this broadcast, we're going to be talking about ego and pride and how it actually stands in the way of us achieving things. It is the two ingredients, ego and pride, are the two ingredients why black people fail in life. We have the biggest egos and the biggest pride of all people on the planet. It keeps us from working together. Keeps us from, tossing aside our differences. It keeps a lot of people talking just to hear themselves talk. Ego and pride are the fuel of a lot of these speakers and teachers and so-called leaders of today. No real rhyme or reason for speaking and talking and leading organizations and movements and fleecing the people out of their money and, it's just ego and pride. Ego and pride runs a lot of these blog talk radio broadcasts. Except for me. I don't do the ego and pride thing. Everything I do, I only exclude myself because everything I do is for a reason. This radio broadcast is a calling card for the state of Mentel. It's a sounding board for the state of Mentel, an organization that is a future intelligence movement. Go to dsom.info. That's why I do this broadcast. It's a State of Mentel radio broadcast, and it's sponsored by Bright Water, Bright Alkaline Beverages. I don't do this because I want to be a radio personality, because I want to be heard, because I want props, or any of this other stuff. I do it for the evolution of my people, the mental evolution of my people, so that we can start looking into the future, so that we can start developing ourselves and stop living in the image of other people of the past. You got people who promote to us all day to live in the past. You got people that tell us who are, holdovers from those last millennium movements and organizations and doctrines, whether it's dealing with religion, Egyptology, culture, and all this other stuff. They tell us that we're supposed to still be taking in these last millennium teachings. And how behind are we? How behind are we, and how behind will these people keep us by promoting this madness to us, just so they can be leaders, just so they can be heard, just so they can, have accolades and props and money and women and whatever they into. Pride and ego. They're not going to tell us the truth. People want to be leaders, have nothing to say, have no real direction for the people. But because of their pride and ego, They'll still stand on podiums and pulpits and preach every day, preach every Sunday, and gather people in just to take their money and just to cajole them, when all that energy can be put into building for our people. I spoke about an educational system that should be built. I said that's what we are advocating within the state of Mentel. As we are just a brand new group in the new millennium, our idea for advancing, our idea for growing, our idea for furthering the intelligence of our people is by starting with the babies, by starting with ourselves, by clearing everything out from the last millennium and starting all over again. Brand new, because we don't have anything, those of us born 1970 and after, don't have anything, don't have a movement that is reflecting who we are. We know about all these other movements, and we know about all these other people telling us, we have to follow this and follow that. But I'm like, we don't need to follow old things. We don't need people telling us or causing divisions amongst us with a bunch of nonsense. We don't need people telling us, keeping us divided based on ego. As I said, a lot of these broadcasts, a lot of these things, if you turn to them and you listen to the content of these so-called radio broadcasts and the people that they hold at bay, you got people, hundreds of people, and it's sad to see that, certain radio broadcasts are just a bunch of people up here talking about nothing. They're putting the energy into nothing. They, just feeding people a bunch of BS and not really focusing on the evolution of the people, making us a better people. It's just niggas that just want to be heard. Niggas that just want to be seen. Niggas that just want to go to so-called conferences and talk and be seen and have the conscious groupies and all this other nonsense. And, you know what I mean? This is not going to help us in the future. This mindset with certain people who talk about owning land in the society, that's based on ego and pride. Because they want to follow that mentality of the white man, where the white man actually thinks he owns this land, or the Native Americans before him, or the blacks that came here. Nobody owns the land. You understand that? So when you hear these Moors and all these other people talking about, owning land, nobody owns the land. The land owns you. What do I mean by that? Just as people came from the land, you will go back into the land. This land will be here after you're gone. The white man doesn't own the land because he'll sit up here and he'll declare borders and things like that and have his police and FBI and CIA and all these people guarding borders and talking about this is American soil and all of this other nonsense. But then when a hurricane comes, when an earthquake comes, a real natural disaster, nothing that he caused with the goddamn heart machine, when those things really come, you see him and his soldiers and his FBI and his FEMA running like a bunch of goddamn roaches. That is the God race that owns this planet. The beings that created this planet own this planet. They control the nature or the natural system of this planet. When it rains, when it's sunny, when it snows, when there's a storm. They put the ideas in man's head to cause diseases and things like that and famine. They put the idea there to get rid of certain groups of people. Don't think that it's man that does this and on his own, that these ideas just generate in his head. Someone generates them there. You understand that? But because our people think that it's ego, because man and woman are based in ego, because they try to get you to be egotistical and proud in this society, you think that you really can own land here. I tell the Moors, all these people, you don't own anything here. You understand? That's an illusion that the white man played with you. The Indians, when they reservations, they don't own a damn thing. Sure, the white man will he'll give you some land, tell you, oh, yeah, you own the land and whatnot, and whatever. But if he wants it back, that's why he created something called eminent domain. So he could take the damn land back when he wants to. It's a game he played with you. But you can only be played in that game when you are feeding on ego and pride. The thought that you actually own something that was here before you got here. You understand? Just as these people, the Indians, thought for years they own the land, here come the white man. Somebody, they think they own the land. It'll be somebody else. You understand? Nobody owns it. You know what the white man is to him on this planet? All he is a caretaker, and he keeps the law because our people fell out of power and didn't want to be responsible to keep the law anymore. You understand that? Our people didn't want to keep the law on the planet. There was a time when we kept the law on the planet, when we kept things in order in our land mass and things like that, when we started going and pioneering land, when we came into what is called America today, and we started pioneering the land and whatnot, and, you know, setting up societies and structures and things like that. We were the first ones to pioneer it, and we were responsible for it until we gave it up. So now someone else had to take hold of the planet and be caretakers to it. You can hate the white man all you want to, but he is a caretaker to the planet. Our people are not taking care of the parks and the, you know, the law and the system and things and how all this stuff works, and it just don't get taken care of by itself. You understand? Our people are not doing that. I used to tell people all the time, I said, you talking about you hate the white man and stuff like that, and, you know, you want to be free and all, you want to take back over the world, but I said, if he was going tomorrow, our people couldn't run the planet. But pride and ego won't let us acknowledge that. I mean, if we were to educate ourselves, if we were to put ourselves in a position where we really wanted it, we could have it again. But at best, all we're going to be is caretakers to the planet. All you can do is caretake the planet. Make sure the planet is taken care of. All you can do is keep the law and take care of the planet, make sure everything's taken care of. Other than that, you know, this is an independent system. Though we were a part of the creation of this planet, this is an independent system. And the system works in natural procession. Seasons coming in, rotation. It all works in a natural procession. This is a biosphere here. It doesn't really need us to dictate. It doesn't really need us to tell it what to do. It's encoded. This planet is encoded with messages already on how to run. You understand? You just feed it certain things. You just, you know, take care of it. Because this is the ultimate domain. This is the ultimate domestic situation here. The planet is domesticated with human life. It is set in motion to domesticate itself as a domicile for the people, a home, a living environment. This is done purposely. But ego tells us that this place really has a controller. That's what ego tells us. These people play games with our ego all the time, and they manipulate us. They're the reason why we can't work together. We're the reason why we can't work together. It's always the low-frequency people, people that vibrate on that low frequency, that keep the separations going. Religions, philosophies, ideologies that you got from the white man anyway, and other races of people, not just him, but other races of people, all meant to cause confusion, all to keep us from working together. Things that don't matter. People are going back and forth at each other in the so-called conscious groups and communities and whatnot. They're going back and forth at each other, just trying to find reasons, because we're taught that that's entertaining, to diss each other, disrespect each other. Meanwhile, we're losing. You know who's winning? The white man's winning. The Jews are winning. Because, you know, they win because they're able to put aside their pride and their ego. It takes a lot for people. When I looked at the Jewish community, I said it takes a lot for people to all dress the same, to all basically live the same, live in the community, and not be driven by ego. But they're winning. They're winning as a collective. But us, with our pride and our ego, we're losing. Though some of us may get a little bit of money, a little bit of material possession, you know, our pride tells us that we are actually winning in society when we're not. We're not doing anything. We don't have anything. But pride and ego tells the individual that he has something. Tells the individual that he controls something. Men believe, based on pride and ego, that they actually control women, that they actually tell women, what to do sexually, living wise and whatnot, control their decisions when you don't. Pride and ego will tell you that, but truth be told, when a woman wants sex, she seeks you out. She puts out the thought, and she produces you into the equation. You don't call her into the equation. She decides whether or not she wants to deal with you. It's not the other way around. I don't care how slick you think you talking. I don't care how much game you think you got. You don't have it. She put the call out, not you. She decides, not you. Even with the whole situation of these guys, I used to laugh at them. I used to watch the pimp documentary, the American Pimps and whatnot, and these simple-looking clown niggas with these funny suits on and these perms in their hair, the so-called pimps. They're talking about they control the women and the bitches, and they use all that derogatory stuff. And I'm like, you don't even see they're using you for protection. These women want to sell their body. You ain't making them do what they don't want to do. But your ego tells you that. Your ego can get you killed. Your pride can get you killed. It's the reason why our people are dying. We're dying from ignorance right now because of our pride and ego. We'll sit up here and we'll not take care of ourselves. We'll sit up here and not educate ourselves on anything. Or when a few of us will get a few dollars in our pocket, we get proud. We get proud. We want to be better than somebody. We want to act better, when you should be acting as an example of people. See, when I talk about the 99%, because people say, oh, intellectual, you talk about the 99% and how they ain't this and they ain't that, and I do that because it's meant to bring the damn 1% out of the 99%. I would like more of our people to come out, but ultimately, 99% of our people are governed by pride and ego. Who this nigga think he is? He ain't gonna tell me what to do. I ain't living my life according to what some niggas say, but you live your life according to what the white man say. You do exactly what he tell you. You systematically follow what he tell you. And it's not even helping you. You live your life according to what they tell you. Everything. You're doing nothing. Like I said, I was telling a friend of mine today, I said, if we're not following our own collective evolution, then we're going to be in a rotation going nowhere, into nothing. That's what this society is comprised of, a revolution of nonsense. Because our people swear we're doing something in this society. You understand? I mean, even when we go to school and we get degrees in nothing, psychology, philosophy, all based in pride and ego, just because you niggas want to believe that your little degree means something, and philosophy and psychology, and the white man will make you believe that, business, whatever you niggas take up, just so you can have a piece of paper on the wall. You're not going to go and, like I said, take up anything that really takes time and energy and really, stretch your mind and your way of thinking. You're not going to do that. You're not going to go to be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, obstetrician, scientist, agriculturalist, something like that, something that takes skill, something where you're independent. You always deal with things where you need a damn job. You understand? Where you're not really needed. Just so you can feel important. You understand that? Just so you can feel important by having that degree. Just so you can say you educated. And when I hear people tell me that, when I hear people tell me that they went to school for things like that, and they like to talk about how they received an education and things like child education and all kind of nonsense, things that really don't take no real skill. Just stuff you could pretty much take online. Whereas the white man, all of them, like I said, they put their ego aside, they put their pride aside, and they sacrifice 5, 6, 7, 8 years of their life to really take on something that's going to actually better them. You can't tell black people that. You can't tell the average nigga that. Like I said, he just wants a degree. That's all he really wants, and bragging rights. To have a degree in something that's really not going to serve any purpose. You understand that? We don't go to school to actually acquire a technical skill, something that's really useful. We go to school for a piece of paper, a degree, bragging rights. Because you niggas are proud. Because of your ego. And where's it gotten our people? Nowhere. Where's it going to get our people in the future? Nowhere. Not a damn place. Right? You keep a lot of these people going in these forums and these lectures. You keep their ego and pride filled up. You sit in the audience and listen to these people come, and you'll listen to them talk about Ashe and Black Power and all this other stuff, and you are inflating these niggas' egos. Not once do you say, well, what is all this Ashe and Black Power and Hotep? What is this going to do for me today? What is this going to do for me? How the hell is this going to benefit me? Not once do you ask the question. You just sit up here and give these people your money and inflate their ego. How does that work? Where does this all come to? How is it benefiting you? You're doing yourself a disservice. These people do you a disservice. You understand that? A lot of people even that I loved, a lot of mentors, people I loved, they got driven by pride and ego. Like I said, you can't possess anything here. You can't own anything here. The best thing you could do here, if you are about the people, is educate the babies. I never see any of these conscious people, any of these niggas that care so much, everybody that's you put on a podium, on a pedestal, these niggas, do they ever talk about the education, the independent education of the babies? Do they worry about the future? Do they put energy into building independent schools like how the Jews do with their yeshiva schools? You understand? You bet your ass that all these rich Jews, they give money to their yeshiva schools for the future of their children. Now that's so not dealing with ego and pride. A nigga would rather pose next to a goddamn Rolls Royce or a Bentley, spend $100,000. You understand? On a goddamn car, $150,000 on a goddamn car. Then say, you know what? I'm gonna start a school system so I can educate my babies, so I can take them out of the public school system. I want to see a better tomorrow for these babies. If I got $2 or $3 million, I'm gonna put it into a school that can educate these babies, so that they can have a better tomorrow. How many people willing to do that? This is what made the Honorable Elijah Muhammad great. One of the first things they did, they set up the University of Islam. Back when the nation was really the nation under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the University of Islam. You understand that? He looked into educating the babies, grades 1 to 12. That's how you show love. You understand? That's how you envision the future for the people. You don't do it by talking about picking up guns and shooting people and kill a white man. Them niggas that talk that BS, they driven by ego and pride. You understand that? It's an ego and pride thing with them. That's all it's driven by. Ego and pride to get a whole bunch of people killed, shot down. You understand that? People who not living for the future. They ready to die in the present rather than live into the future. They ready to put energy into nonsense because they proud. You understand? Because of their ego. I'm not saying don't stand up and be real men and real women, but it don't really take, like I said, even our people who talk all that madness about, being emotional and talking about doing this and doing that in this society, it don't really mean anything because it's all just talk. So if you're going to put that much energy and time into talk, you need to be talking about educating the babies, the children, and have something to really educate them on. Don't sit up here talking about you educating them and you yourself have not been educated, or you're not thinking in a common sense form of logic on what they really need. Because you got a lot of people that went to school, like I said, and got useless degrees. Because these niggas are proud, they'll sit up here and think they really educators. How that, or that you really know what the babies need to be educated in. Leave it up to you. A lot of you niggas educate the babies in a lot of philosophy and business and all kind of BS just so they can be a bunch of handkerchief head niggas like you. Just so they can sit around here talking about, well, I've got my degree in this and I've got my degree in that, and we don't need no niggas who just got their degree in this and we need people we need doctors. How about that? We need scientists. We need lawyers. We need people, real business people. Real self-made people, real self-made business people, people who were like Berry Gordy and John H. Johnson. Those were self-made millionaires. You understand? Not some nigga who was picking up some crumbs off the white man's table, like a lot of these so-called record CEOs, because that's a big thing these niggas use nowadays. That title of CEO. You understand? Of some imprint, some label, not a real company, but a shell company of the white man's company. You understand that? That's BS. And you niggas, y'all just in tune like a bunch of remote mind control niggas. Yeah, I'm the CEO of my own company. You niggas ain't the CEO of nothing. You don't produce nothing. You don't turn out anything. Just a bunch of noise and racket. Because you won't take time. You won't take time to think. You won't take time to think what it is that will benefit the people. You just want to make money. And that's based on pride and ego, because you want to floss, because you want to have the big car, because you want to act like you better than everybody. That's the real reason why you niggas want to make money and get educated, so that you can sit up here and disrespect other people. It's not about helping our people. It's not about spreading the knowledge or whatnot, or getting it out there to these babies. Because with all these black millionaires out here, you mean to tell me not 5 of them could have put together money to start charter schools all over for our babies? You understand that? I don't get that. Not one, all these black millionaires out here could put together enough money to start a motion picture studio to produce independent movies where you niggas ain't got to keep turning out these coon Frankenstein movies, these Frankenstein coon movies, because you want to beg the white man because you niggas want to get paid. Not 5 of y'all could have put together that money. Or or like I said, you didn't have to use your own money. You could just set up a independent motion picture company to produce, get studio somewhere in Arizona somewhere, and set up and make your own movies, distribute your own movies in some kind of way. So that you ain't got to keep depending on the white man, put the stock on the market on Wall Street and open it up as a public company. You couldn't do that. But I guess, proud slaves, they don't think that way. The proud slaves don't think that way. That's how, when you hear people talk about Willie Lynch, that's how Willie Lynch really works. Willie Lynch works off of pride. You understand? That's how the Willie Lynch thing was able to work. Off of pride. It was, that whole HNIC title. You understand? That was induced in you niggas. Just to make y'all, want to be better. I want to be the bigger nigga. Pride and ego. All fed from that submental place. All fed from that lower mindset. People who don't see the bigger picture. Niggas who want to be impotent. You demon niggas. You demented people. You don't see the bigger picture. You don't see that by all of us coming together as one, that we all will win in time. It's just got to be about you. I don't know about all that. I know what I got to get. Right? But then, as soon as something happened to you, know how people do. As soon as something happened to niggas, then they want to cry and run up under the black umbrella and play the race card. But see, you shouldn't be allowed to play the race card because, you was an individual before. When the thing happened to what's the kid that got killed here? The kid who got shot 41 times. I forget his name. Not Trayvon Martin, but I can't think of his name right now. But when that happened, Everybody got under the black umbrella, but nobody, like I said, did these people think on that level of being black and standing up for their people? Everybody wants to get under the black umbrella when it's time to get paid, when it's time to get some money in their pocket. That's when everybody wants to get under the black umbrella. You know, that's when everybody wants to get black. That's when it's a pride thing. When Barack Obama became the president, that's when everybody want to get black. That's when everybody together now. We did it. You did what? You didn't do anything. But pride and ego tells you that you did. Pride and ego got you to believe that your vote really put that man there, when it clearly did not. But you can't tell you niggas that, cause y'all proud. You know, you rather have false victories, you know, or you rather have false victories, you understand, than real accomplishments. I'm gonna say it again. You rather have false victories than real accomplishments, because real accomplishments means that you have to do away with your ego. Means that it's not about you anymore. It's about a group. And those of our people who think that way, those of our people who really feel like that, you would be looking for a group of people who think about the team. They think about the team. Now, I'm not saying, you know, everybody got to be as drastic to, you know, how the Jews are and they dressing all that black and stuff like that. I just use them as an example because that is the perfect example of a people who are not proud and a people who are not egotistical. To be able to dress all like that and look all the same. Now, in that form, where as individuals they're not proud and they're not egotistical at the same time, they are proud people as a group. They register as a proud people as a group because they were able to put away their pride as individuals and do that. They were able to Voltron into a power. Remember that phrase, Voltron, the cartoon where, you know, the cars, all that stuff, or whatever, the mechanical machines of cars linked all up when they Voltron and everything came together and it was a body. Same thing with the Nation of Islam, the old Nation of Islam. Same thing under Dr. York and them back in the day. People put away their pride and their ego. Even in the Marcus Garvey movement, people put away their pride and their ego. Now, you just got these people's movements are based, the people that are running them, they whole thing is based in pride and ego. The people that's running it, that was left, who took over because they wanted money, because they wanted to get paid, that's all based in pride and ego now. It's not based in the sincerity of the men who were the progenitors of these organizations. Just people who want to get paid. People who just looking to have a seat of authority. You understand that? And people feed these people's egos. You'll sit up here and feed these people's egos, and, you know, because people are personality driven, right? Because you like this person, you like their appearance, you like how they look, you like how they sound, just like the preacher, just like the nigga on the pulpit, the imam, whoever the black leader. You're not listening to what these niggas are actually advocating. Because if you really listen, you know these niggas not advocating anything. They just making good speeches. You like their vernacular. You like their tone. You like their pronunciation and their how they command the English language. That's what you like. You like how they look, like how they dress. You're not listening to what they're actually saying. You're not hearing that part. Because obviously, if you were, these people wouldn't have any followers. These people wouldn't have anybody following them. You understand that? They wouldn't have it. Pride is good when there's a reason to be proud. Niggas are proud for nothing. Not for one thing we are proud. You understand? I'm going to say it one more time. Pride is good when there's a reason to be proud. And our people are proud for absolutely nothing. Pride is not good when it's driven by ego. You understand? You'll want to pull somebody else down. Now, if you are truly gonna put somebody out there, if you're gonna truly tear somebody down, have a reason to tear somebody down. Tear somebody ass down based on the fact that they're not doing anything. That's the reason to tear somebody down, say something about somebody. You understand? On the fact, based on merit of what they're doing and not doing. If you're going to tear somebody down, don't just tear anybody down just because you don't like the person. You might not personally like a person, but they stand for something and they advocating something, they trying to do something. If you are for the evolution, then it would behoove you to join on to what they're doing. You know? Stop being individuals. Individuality is good when you're around a bunch of stupid people. But collectivism is good when you're around a bunch of intelligent people. Because we should all want to be a group of intelligent people. Not, oh, I want to be my own this and I'm my own. That's all ego. I'm my own God. You hear that's a big thing with these niggas in the conscious mode. I'm my own God. We don't need no more leaders. We don't need no more messiahs and leaders and all this other stuff. You hear that? That's a big thing with these niggas and that so-called conscious thing. But then you part of a conscious movement. You part of a group. As long as you feel that way, but then you talking to people and you want to be heard. So what if people turn around and look at you and say, nigga, we don't need to listen to you then. We don't need no more people talking at us and telling us nothing and whatnot. But maybe you just feel that way because you don't want to listen. Because you think it's gonna make you less of a man to listen. You understand? It feels like, it'll make you smaller if you listen. Too many chiefs are not enough Indians. Nobody wants to play their position. You understand? Nobody wants to play a position. Nobody wants to play their role. You understand? Everybody can be leaders in a group. Everybody could be leaders in a group. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you represent a group, if you are, you are skilled in a certain area, then you are in charge of that area. Thus, you are the leader within that area. You understand? You part of a body. I was able to be a student, and I always put this out here because, niggas always say, they throw that at me, oh, he was a student at Dr. York's and whatnot. Yeah, I was a student at Dr. York's. He's a mentor of mine. Just like I was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a mentor of mine, even though he passed away before I was born. But I look at a lot of his work. I look at a lot of what Dr. York did. I'm not copying nothing Dr. York did. I'm not teaching his doctrine that he's teaching or he was teaching prior to that time. What he did do is open me up to receiving higher knowledge. He put my mind on a level to be open up to even receive what I'm receiving now, because the thing I loved about Dr. York and I recognized in him was that he was a ray, a.k.a. a receiver, one who was receiving higher intelligence. That was my attraction to his movement and to the man of looking at him as a mentor. You understand? That's what I looked at. It wasn't so much the teachings and the doctrine. It was the fact that I recognized the man as a receiver, one who was receiving higher intelligence. That was, like I said, that's why I was a student of his. I recognized the intelligence in that man. And it takes a person who is not proud and egotistical to be a student. It takes a person who is not proud and egotistical to lend his hand and assist in a movement rather than wanting to be an individual and do nothing. You understand? Because you want to be proud. Because you don't want to be part of anything. You want to be your own God. But where is that getting you? Nowhere. All it is getting you to beat on your chest and, act like you're really doing something in society when you're not. We got a lot of proud Negroes out here, but ain't nothing getting done. The ultimate goal should be the evolution of the babies, the betterment of the next generation to come, and ourselves. Not some nigga that's sitting around here trying to give us a whole bunch of religious rigmarole and trying to get us to live in the same way as some people in the past, where they trying to get you to live like Jesus, Muhammad, some BS. You understand? We don't need to live in the image of nobody else. People who get you to try and do that, those niggas are ego driven. Just get away from them. Get away from them in those movements. People should be trying to get you to be the best you can be. That's what we advocating in the state of Mentel. Being the best person, finding the supreme in you. Not trying to be in the image of the Egyptians, not trying to be in the image of the Muhammad or Jesus, or trying to use these people as examples because you don't know whether these people existed or not. I mean, you know the Egyptians exist. That's a fact. The ancient Egyptians, the Kemites existed, but these Jesus and the Muhammad existed. But like I said, we don't need nobody to live in the image of. We're in a new millennium. You understand? Be fastidious in your evolution, and if you're going to be egotistical and be proud about something, be proud of who you're going to become. Finding out who you are. That's what we advocating in the state of Mentel. Finding the supreme in us. Where it's not about a bunch of egotistical people. Because we all starting from zero. I mean, should I say, yeah, well, we starting from zero, or I should say we starting from one. We're not starting from zero because we separated from the zero, meaning the circle, and we on the same level as one people, one mind, one body, one soul, one people. That takes getting away from the ego and the pride for us to say, yeah, we do need each other. Yes, we do. We need each other. The intelligent ones of our people need each other. We only got us in this society. All we got is us. We'll be right back. You know, how is it that corporations are structured? You know, in the word corporation, you see the word cooperation. See, when you niggas go to get, you know, you educated niggas, the handkerchief heads, the ones who talk like this, when you go and you get in your real tight-ass three-piece suit and your ties and all this other stuff, and you know, and you got your MBA and all this other stuff in business, and you know, you think you're going to get a job at some white corporate firm or wherever you think you're going to get a job at, you know, and you know, you're talking about corporate finance and things like that. You know, the thing they don't teach you in business school is cooperation. They don't teach you cooperation. They don't, just like they don't teach you about building your own enterprise. You understand? They teach you how to be good, what's the word I want to use? Good flunkies, good people that, you know, just to order around and do the flunky work. They don't teach you about the most important thing in building a corporation or being a so-called CEO, since you niggas like to throw that terminology around so much, you so-called educated. Love to throw around the term, that's the new millennium term for a lot of you young cats who in that hip-hop game, because you seen Jay-Z and Dame Dash and them put CEO of Rockefeller Records and whatnot, and you cats wanted to be CEOs and COOs because you like the terminology because it was cool. You understand? But you don't understand a damn thing about business and how corporations and corporate structures work. The main thing that it's based on is cooperation. You see it in the word corporation, the word cooperation. There are laws and structure and order in a corporation. You have offices. A corporation is built like an army. You have offices. You have heads of corporations. You have people that are working within the corporation. If you are a person who's too proud and egotistical, you can never be part of a corporation or much less run it or be a so-called CEO. You understand that? You can't do that. You have to be the most unproudest or most unegotistical person. See, because when Berry Gordy was building Motown, he used to do this thing. I mean, of course, he was the boss, you know, he had the final say, but the beautiful thing he used to do, and I studied up on Berry Gordy a little bit, was he used to have these record listening pools of all the people, the executives at the company, and they would all vote on the record that was going to be released. You know, he could have been proud, he could have been egotistical and be like, oh, I decide which record is going to be released, and that's it. But he had people vote on the records that would be released out of Motown. If any of you ever seen that old movie, the Temptations movie, where he was asking people, would you buy this record if you was down to your last dollar? Would you buy this record or buy a sandwich? And people was voting. He used to do it like that for real. Now that's the most unegotistical man. That's why he was successful, because he listened to other people, because he worked together with other people, because he inspired people to work together, to come together, to build something great, to produce a sound. That's why I put him up as one of my mentors. You understand? Berry Gordy. You understand? I put him up as a mentor because he raised a generation, music taste and sound and good music. Not just black, not just white, but everybody. That was the sound of young America. He did that, a black man. Proud of Berry Gordy. Elijah Muhammad had advisors. Dr. York, the sisters advised him a lot. Any person who wants to be successful will work in a group, will work in a team, will play their position. You can't be egotistical. You can't be proud. You got to be able to work within a group. And that also goes, whereas once you are that way, you should inspire others to be the same way, where it's not about disrespecting anybody. It's about working together. But you see, black people didn't get that yet. They didn't get the memo. Black people talk about, they want all this power. They want to be in charge. They want, black power, our shade. But like I said, you guys who talk all that stuff, you got all this revolutionary talk. A lot of these guys these leaders, everything they do is based on pride and ego, and they just can't admit that they don't know what they doing or what they talking about. Just blind ambition, pride and ego, based on that submental. They say, it's right down there with jealousy on that submental state. They say there's I forget what the color is. There's a color that vibrates on. They talked about that in the color scheme, or I believe it's red or green. One of those color schemes in the submental state, in which that it vibrates on that low frequency things like ego and pride and jealousy. You understand that? It vibrates on a low submental state, and they keep you there. Like I said, they always introduce these people like in your hip hop movement, where I told you that terminology. I'm doing me. I'm doing me. You understand that whole thing? That whole hip hop thing is based on ego and pride. That's why it was promoted to our people, to keep us from working together, to keep us wanting to be separate. Because to be sure that our people was working together, we came out of that brotherhood and sisterhood thing of the 70s, and and my black brother and sister, and it was more of a family thing, and us working together. And then they had to produce a music in us. Get us, and they had to produce a mentality in us that broke us all apart, that fed our ego and fed our pride, that fed us on that submental level, that selfishness. Like it even goes into what I said about how a lot of sisters who are good women, they'll have a good man, and it's a sister or a friend of theirs who don't have a man. And because I had a sister tell me this one time. She said I bring this up. She said that she wanted her sister not to be alone. She, not her physical blood sister, but she a good friend of hers. They opted to share her husband. Now I know that sounds strange to a lot of women. Oh hell no, I ain't sharing my man with nobody, because that's based in jealousy. But sister felt that you know what? If I don't have I'm happy with him. He's a good man. I want him to be your husband as well. I don't want to see you alone. I want you to have children. I want our children to be brothers and sisters. Now, to a lot of people, that sounds crazy. Because we were bred to be jealous, envious, egotistical, and proud, and wanting to feel lucky or so-called fortunate not to be in that person's predicament. You know how when you say, I found me a good man, a guy say, I found this such and such, my woman, this, that, and the third. Now, the first thing that comes into mind when you say you found a good person, yeah, you happy, that's the second thing you think about when you happy that you found a good person in your life. But the first thing is that, I got something them niggas ain't got. Or you women like, I got a man, she ain't got no man. A lot of y'all happy about that. A lot of you happy, you feel something, and that was bred in you. Got admit it. It was bred in you to feel happy or fortunate that you got something that somebody else ain't got. That was bred in you to feel special. You understand? That you would have something that somebody else don't have. The hell with whether the sister, your good friend, whatever, she don't have a man or she don't have children, or she's lonely. Like I said, to somebody that might sound crazy because you were indoctrinated in this society based on a submental state. We didn't think like that before we came here. We wasn't like this. This is so not us. Who we are now is a degeneration of who we once were. We got away from who we were. We something just totally different. We like I said, we just some degenerate state that don't went through this, this American system. You understand? And we've come out to be, just garbage. A generation of garbage. Generation of selfish, effeminized men or males. Bunch of spoiled, ego-driven and selfish females. That's the generation. Childish, ignorant, and proud, and egotistical, all for nothing. When you got people like that in a society, eventually they're going to be destroyed. Eventually they're going to be destroyed at the hands of their own devices. These Negroes that live in my building, all right, they decided to barbecue, right? I'm going to share this because this is priceless. These Negroes decided to barbecue in front of the goddamn building, right? I lie you not. Now, you got all these parks, right? You got all these parks that, you're supposed to do that in a park. But because these niggas was proud and egotistical, and it was a lot of them, they felt like they was just going to set up. Forget the fact that people got to get inside the building. I'm living in a nice building. Forget the fact that people got to get in and out the building. These niggas, they wanted to set up and start barbecuing in front of the goddamn building. And dare you to say something about it. Pride and ego. They couldn't just pick up. There's a park. It was a park right down the block, too. Park right down the block. Several parks in my area. They couldn't just go and set up over there and barbecue and have a good time. They got to go take up the damn block. Because these niggas is lazy. They lazy, proud, and egotistical. They don't want to pick the goddamn grill up. They had all these men there. These niggas ain't want to pick the grill up and put it in their car. You understand? And just take it down the damn block. They want to just loiter in front of the damn building. You understand? It's like sometimes when you're dealing with black folks, you got to live in a parallel universe, where wrong is right and right is wrong. You understand? That's the mentality you gotta have. Like they everything that's wrong is right with niggas, and everything that's right with you is wrong with them. But common sense would tell anybody that you doing it's the right thing to be courteous and think about people. But ego and pride will tell you to do the wrong thing. They'll have you getting in arguments with people, lowering the frequency, bringing down the vibration of people, misleading people, lying to people, stealing from people, just because you want to be, that nigga. You want to be the one in charge. You want to be the one that's heard, seen, the loudest. That's how your Willie Lynch work. That's how your movements work. Ain't nothing deeper than what it is. It's based on pride and ego. Look, and when you hear any of these tapes, when you hear any of these guys, conscious, whatever these guys, all this black crap from last millennium with these last millennium movements, these guys who started up all these old movements, who wanted to, start up Marcus Garvey movement, start the nation, start up the Moors, all these guys that restarted all these old movements, all that's based on ego. You understand? All of it's based on ego. It's not based on the sincerity that these men started with in the last millennium. It's all based on ego. Now you know that because you hear the horror stories. You hear people getting, young people getting involved in stuff who sincere, they searching for something, they get ripped off, they get lied to. They done spent 10 years in these goddamn movements and ain't nothing changed in their life. You understand? All they did was buy books, buy birth certificates, buy a whole bunch of other crap, give money, and nothing changed. These niggas still living in the projects. They barely getting by. All they got was some goddamn feel good. You understand? And that was it. That's all they got. That's all they got out of their 5, 10, 15 years with these organizations and these movements and going to these events and lectures and whatnot just to hear a bunch of niggas talking, just to hear themselves talk. They got to hear the output of a bunch of egotistical and proud niggas. That's what they got to hear. That's what you paid $20 for. That's what you paid $25 for. Egypt was in Africa by my book, all based in pride and ego. That can keep you at the bottom of everything. You understand? I would rather be in a group. I would rather set up something where people are living for, of, and by each other, where there is no ego. That's the experiment we was trying to do in the State of Mentel and the Supermen, Superwomen Project. That is the breakdown. That's the next thing we actually going to be talking about, breaking down the ego in our people so that we can start to win as a collective. Breaking down the ego in the people. You understand? So that we can all formulate that ego into one force. See, it's like how you have a team. Now the team, when you're taught to be a team player, you're taught that you want to win for the team, not for yourself. You make moves carefully for the team because you know if the team wins, you win. So in the fact that I'm not saying dump your pride out, don't be proud. I'm not saying don't dump your ego out, but there's higher levels of pride and ego. The ego and the pride that you have actually becomes higher when it's multiplied in a group, when it's magnified, when you want the collective, the group to win as opposed to just yourself, because you yourself mean nothing. The white man's able to put this whole American thing, he was able to put this whole American thing on smash, put this whole goddamn thing down the way he put it down because it was not based in ego. George Washington convinced black people, white people. He convinced, it was black people that fought in the Revolutionary War. He convinced some of the first black people that died here, in the Revolutionary War. He was able to convince them, that we all in this together, even though he told them something else afterwards, and the whole slavery thing was allowed to go down. But he was able to convince people to work together. They ain't have much, but they just got it in. They fought and they secured this land. They did what they had to do. And they made it happen. You gotta admire that on a certain level. To get people to work together, to put away their ego. Because you don't have to. You could still be. You could still shine as an individual within a group. You can do that. You could be that sister who's the designer. You could be that sister or that brother who's the doctor, or that person who's the engineer. You understand? You can still shine as an individual within a group, but you're still part of the group based on your accomplishments. That's how you boost the ego, because now the whole group is smiling. Everybody's smiling at you. Everybody's proud of you. You proud of yourself because you're going to win for the group. You're going to win for the team. You ain't winning just for you. It's not about ego no more. But how this society does, it gets you to be in an individual mindset. So now the ego and the pride is low. It's based on a submental form. That's why you end up bitter and you alone. A lot of you black women who end up with no man. A lot of you end up with no man because you're proud, because of your ego. A lot of you black men, in time you end up with you let good women go based on pride and ego. Trust me, I know. You let good women go based on pride and ego, stupidity. You don't see the bigger picture. You don't see the bigger picture of forming a union with the right people, coming together with the right people. And it's definitely necessary. I said in the State of Mentel, we talk about bringing out the best in you. You know, who are you? We know who all these people are. We, like I said, we know trying to live in the image of all these other people and calling yourself a Christian, calling yourself a Muslim, calling yourself an Israelite. You trying to live the example of other people. They Egyptian, even when you people run around with all these Egyptian names and stuff like that. Who are you? Who are you as a person? Yeah, the Egyptian names and all that, but I said that if you are a supreme person does not link themselves to a society, to a culture, to a group. You know why? Because supremacy is forever. Cultures are temporary. I'm going to say it again. Cultures are temporary. Egypt, Africa, all these things are temporary. But you as a supreme being, as a supreme person, is forever. That's ongoing. Supreme beings, gods, goddesses, whatever you want to refer to yourself as, that's forever. Borders, countries, continents, whatever you call them, because whenever a new group of people come up, some egotistical group of people, they're going to come in and change it and call it something else. Those things, like I said, you talking about Egypt, it'd be something else in 1,000 years, 100 years. You know, those things come and go. Societies come and go. Gods are forever. Supreme people are forever. They can always go somewhere else and set something else up. That's why I said within the state of mental, we're not caught up on things like culture. We're not a culture. That's why I said you can never call what we building a cult, because we're not based in culture. We're not interested in these identities that's linked to countries and all this nonsense, or land mass, and we're not interested in that. We're interested in building the mind up, the mentality, advancing mentally and physically as people. First mentally and then physically you're going to come up. You understand? Because while people trying to be egotistical and, they thinking that they own parts of the earth and whatnot, like I said, all that comes crashing right the hell down. Them people in Japan, like I said, they probably about to evacuate. They had to evacuate damn near half of Japan because of that nuclear fuel, whatever had spilled over there, that nuclear energy, whatever had spilled. Like I said, those people might have to be evacuated the hell out of Japan for all we know. You could be in a land one day, and like I said, the next minute you don't have nothing. The Nation of Islam, like I said, they had all them businesses. Then, like I said, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad died, they didn't have nothing. All the business was taken and sold by his son. Dr. York and them had that land, now it's gone. So for you to put your energy into all of that stuff and put your energy into land and, we ain't got no land, how we gonna build? That's egotistical. That's based on ego. That's based on pride. Build up the minds of the people first. When I hear some of these guys talking about that, then I'll take you seriously. And then when you come up with a real serious plan on that, like what we thinking of in the state of mental, then I'll take you serious. I'm not going to take any of these Negroes seriously. Like I said, it's about showboating. It's about today. It's about trying to make money. It's about present day stuff. It's not about the future. You should always, people who are not egotistical, people who are not ego driven and pride driven, they live for future thinking. The future is way too big to be driven by somebody's goddamn ego and pride. These people, like I said, these people will be gone. All these niggas will be scattered with all of their philosophies from the past. Give them another 3 or 4 years. They'll be gone. They'll be scattered. They'll be someplace else. Because, like I said, when you let something wind out after a while, it winds out of style. And then, somebody else will come up. Or, like I said, you'll wake up and finally stop supporting this madness. You'll stop supporting people that's based in ego, that's based in madness. This is the reason why our people are not coming together. This is the reason why our people are not accomplishing anything. We put all that away in the state of mental. The SOM.info. We are mentalists. We are mentalists. The SOM.info. I'm going to put it in the chat room. I always talk up the state of mental because if I'm going to talk about a problem, I'm always going to give a solution. Read the About Us section. See, because we're not interested in trying to be in the image of somebody else. We're not interested in being proud and egotistical. To actually focus on the future, to actually take your mind out of trying to be in the image of somebody else, that's dropping your pride and ego and trying to find yourself. That's more important. Advancing as mental beings, winning as a collective, that's powerful. That's goddamn powerful. But like I said, to some people, they're not going to get that. A lot of our people are not going to get that. But you, like I said, those people who understand that, those are the people that rule the world. This whole thing, the people that push ego and pride to you, to black people, through that hip-hop movement, through niggas like Russell Simmons who push that garbage to y'all, that do me and do you, and what's that biography, that BS biography this nigga had, and the 40 laws and the 50 laws of how to get this and how to get that, all that's based in pride and ego. The niggas that push that message was paid for by people who control the world who are not based in ego and pride. Your Illuminati and all them people, these are not pride-driven and egotistical people. The people that rule this world are not pride-driven and egotistical. They work in an order and a structure. They cooperate. The Chinese, they'll sleep on the goddamn floor. They'll all move together in one apartment and sleep together in a damn one room in order to get a business going. Hell, see, black people will do that. You understand? The selfish the black female, I'm not talking about you black women who understand. I'm talking about you selfish black female. She got to have the Louis Vuitton bag. She got to have that. I got to have that. I got to have that. I remember I heard a story about this simple-minded Negro who sold. He had a Dunkin' Donut franchise, right? And this was $1 million franchise. Now he sold it to some Asians. Now it's hard for black people to get those franchises, those Dunkin' Donut franchises. He sold it, right? And he was broke. He got $1 million or whatever he got for it, and the nigga was broke within a year. Right? The Chinese people, they worked it, like I said, they got their money back in less than maybe a year and a half. They got the money back they spent on it. Now, this same person turns around and is trying to teach me and a few other people about business, franchising and stuff like that. He was working under some white people now, trying to sell us some marketing, going into some marketing scheme and some product. Because that's the thing with Negroes now. They into this marketing thing. They marketing something from the white man. But he had a business that was producing, a real business, and he just threw it away. Because he wanted the money. Because he wanted to floss. Because he wanted to be that big nigga. And you black women, a lot of y'all, you black females, I should say, y'all feed that stupidity. Y'all help to feed the stupidity. You help to feed it. A lot of you black females, you like stupid niggas. You like these buffoon niggas. You like them. Why? Because it feeds your ego. You don't really want a smart man. I'm gonna be real about this. A lot of you black females, you don't want a smart man. You understand? Because he's gonna make you think. You like somebody who you can manipulate. You like a dumb nigga. I've seen these people, well, I'm not even gonna go into the, I just see this all the time. But a lot of times, you like these guys who just basically, like I said, ain't got enough sense to turn on a light. Damn near turn on a light bulb. There's not enough brightness there to turn on a light bulb because you can manipulate them. You can't manipulate an intelligent person because he might alter your intelligence, or the two will clash. You can't manipulate. A lot of you females like to manipulate men because it's based on pride and ego. Right? A lot of you can't see that the separation of one who is intelligent versus one who is ignorant and stupid, you don't see the two come into one. Like I said, it's like you'll take the guy who has like no sense, just basically moving along in the world, and you lay with him, and you'll make the guy who has a little bit of intelligence, you'll make him your friend. That's based on ego and pride. Because, like I said, you don't never want to be not in control of a situation. You can control the monkeys, the guys who, like I said, don't think that much, the Neanderthals, right? You can control that. You don't want to work in unison with somebody who thinks, because that'll make you think. That will alter you. That means you're going to have to cooperate. That means you're going to have to put down your pride and your ego and work together. A lot of y'all don't want that. You understand that? A lot of y'all don't want that. That's reality. That's why you choose dummies. You lay down with dummies because you want to lead him. You know who's in charge mentally. You know how to manipulate him. And he'll do anything you want because all he wants is sex. Sex you can manipulate a person by. When it comes to long, drawn-out conversation and somebody who actually thinks, and it's actually a thing of thinking beyond just sex, that's where a lot of women lose control. A lot of females, I should say, lose control. That's why they cut the conversation short. They want a man with a one-track mind because they can control that track. That's pride and ego, right? That's why the progeny or the children that's produced from that go nowhere. They usually go nowhere because the women, the young girls that grow up out of those unions, or the young boys that grow up out of those unions, they see and they get a bad idea of the interaction between men and women. They don't see an equal balance or a buoyancy of intelligence. They see somebody manipulating somebody else. You understand? They see pride and ego. They see somebody, they get this whole idea in their mind where it's about using people, playing games. Pretty soon, these little niggas going around leaving babies everywhere. You understand? Or the girl that comes out of that, she's letting her vagina be used as a public utility. You understand that? That's what she's allowing herself to be used as, because she thinks it's all part of ego. She thinks she's playing a game, all based in ego. She allows herself, she don't think she's being used. She thinks she's playing somebody. So that's why I said you get a whole generation of people who are playing games with each other because it's based on ego. It's not based on sincerity. It's not based on nothing real. It's based on games. Intelligent people, as we're growing into intelligent people, we're not playing games anymore. We're not basing nothing on pride and ego. We're not basing things on stupidity. We're not listening to people anymore who don't know what the hell they talking about, who got more energy to talk, who got more energy to want to stand up and be leaders of movements and organizations rather than have a love for the evolution of the people. We don't need females playing games. And this next chapter we about to go through in this new millennium, we don't need people playing games. We don't need no egotistical niggas standing up. If we're going to have leaders, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a leader. You understand? Somebody has to get things going in a certain flow and direction. There's nothing wrong with that. But have intelligent people who are sincere, who are not driven by ego, who are not driven by pride, that's going to come to the lead. Because we by nature always look for our leaders. Where's the black leaders at? There are none. Look for the bright leaders, the intelligent leaders. Forget the black leaders. Look for the bright leaders. Those who are intelligent amongst the black race, the real intelligent, not the educated niggas, not them educated niggas. Those niggas are driven by pride and ego, not the conscious niggas. They're driven by pride and ego. You understand? Those are both doors those are two doors in the ignorant complex. Conscious is door A and the educated is door B. All right? two apartments in the same ignorant complex. No, look for the intelligent people. The people who are in tune mentally, who see beyond those two things, the people that see the bigger picture. That's what intelligence really is, the people that see the bigger picture, the people who are not driven by pride and ego. I'm not driven by pride and ego. I can sincerely say it. So when people say, "Oh, that's your philosophy and whatnot," when I talk about mentellect and the knowledge of mentellect, I say it's not my philosophy. Mentellect is not my philosophy. Mentellect comes through me. Future knowledge, advanced knowledge, real knowledge that's based in reality, because nothing's realer than the evolution of intelligence, the evolution of higher thinking. That's coming through. All things in existence are going to have a step up, or we're going to advance, or all these things are going to evolve on another level. And we have to have the knowledge on the things that are going to advance to the next level. We're going to be advanced people. That's what we're dealing with when we're talking about mentellect. Certain people who will be elect enough or chosen to mentally evolve. Not all of our people will do it based on what? Pride and ego. A lot of our people are not going to evolve mentally based on pride and ego. You understand? They're not going to, they already made their mind. Like when I sit up here and I do a broadcast, and when I did the Superman, Superwoman project, a lot of our people won't turn out. They're not going to turn out because they got this mindset, whereas, oh, ain't no nigga going to teach me nothing. Or if y'all can't deny it. A lot of our people can't deny it. They'll go like, well, in the 99%, they'll go, oh, ain't no nigga going to teach me nothing. If a black man teaches something, it got to be a con game. You know, it got to be something, what he know that I don't know. See? Pride and ego. I know how the majority of our people think, black folk think. And so in a minute, like I said, I've been stopped claiming y'all, but I know how the majority of black people think. Oh, that nigga don't know nothing. It's all a game. He just running a game. He kind of con us. You understand that? That's the mentality. But the white man said, like I said, you accept it wholeheartedly. No problem. He could BS you all through and whatnot, but you'll accept it because he white and he is your author or your authority. You would consume his information. You consume his books because in that, you got somebody who don't look like you telling you something. I said I made a quote one time. I said, you know, the only business that can't make money in the black community is a black business. The Chinese who come in the black community and make money, the white man, the Italian, all of them, the Arabs, everybody, the Puerto Ricans, the Spanish, all of them, the Mexicans, everybody could come and make money in the black community but black people. The Chinamen, everybody could make money. The damn Mexicans could come around selling goddamn guava. What's that? The cut up guava, whatever the fruit they sell in a cup. They could come and sell that. But let a black man set up a store somewhere. Black people is not going to support it. Why? Pride and ego. That nigga, I ain't giving that nigga no money. I don't want to say that nigga get no money. I ain't giving that nigga. That's really in the back of your mind. I ain't giving that nigga my money. We did something one time where it's so ingrained deep in the minds of our people, that ego thing. We had books, you know, when we was promoting our Supermen, Superwomen project here in New York, we had books on the table. Books I wrote, me and some brothers, and black dude walks up to the table. He picks up the book. He said, this is for free? I'm like, no, it's a book. It's $10. When would you ever walk up to a table and pick up a real book and ask, is it for free? Now, had it been a white person or somebody else, he'd been like, how much is this? Or how much does this cost? He comes up and asks, is this for free? Can I have this? Pride and ego. Because no black man could actually do anything that would be worth money or write anything that would be worth money. That's ingrained in the minds of our people. You understand? Like a rotation, like a groove, and a formation. Pride and ego, hate toward each other, self-hate, is ingrained in the minds of our people. Which is why we have to come from out amongst the black race. The 1%, the bright people, have to come out. There has to be an evolution of new people out of the black race. Because this goddamn thing is so ingrained, this submental way of thinking is so ingrained in the minds of black people that it's too late. All you can do is try to raise the vibration of certain people. That's all you can do. Certain people, everybody's not going to make it. Everybody's not going to drop this mentality. It's still so ingrained. You be good luck. You understand? You could these niggas talking about Willie Lynch all day, even in the conscious community, and these niggas are suffering from Willie Lynch. I've seen it. You understand? So if the people that sitting up here diagnosing Willie Lynch is suffering from Willie Lynch, what the hell you think the niggas don't even know who's suffering from it, who don't even know what that's called? What chance you think they got for getting rid of that? That's why our people are not going to win. I don't care how much the government, how many handouts you niggas get, how many check, all that. I don't care how many black presidents you get. That's going to keep our people back. None of this stuff that the white man throws to you in society is going to help you. No black president, not no politics, not no goddamn handouts, not no reparations, not some land, or some treaties. None of that's going to help our people, because the same goddamn people are going to still suffer from the same pride and ego problem. You understand that? The same people, the same low frequency people that vibrate on that mindset are going to suffer from that. So there has to be a mental change that has to be undergone, and that's only going to be undergone within a certain people that are going to be willing to throw those things off. The majority of the people, forget it. They're not going to do it, because they don't want to even admit that they got a problem. They don't want to admit that. Only going to be the few. Only going to be a few that's going to put their ego aside, their pride aside, and come together as brand new people living for, of, and by each other. Everybody else, they want to, like I said, man, I don't want to hear all that. I can't get enough. I'm just going back to work, or I'm going back, and that's what I really want to do. You understand that? That got to be bred out of our people, within the bright race, within the new race, within the mentality race, the mental race, those who are moving on a high mental frequency. That has to be bred out, in order for us to advance to another level, to receive higher mental capabilities, to break this bond or break this circle and move forward. We got to get rid of that. Without getting rid of that, we could forget it. Black people could forget it. That's why, like I said, we losing. Like I said, money's not going to change it, because, like I said, the egotistical niggas are, what he talking about? Oh, man, all I need some money. All niggas need some money. Everything going to be all right. Y'all got money. I told you that. Y'all got money. You got money to buy $200. You'll find money. You niggas got $200 to buy Jordans and the new Nike, with them gold things. You'll find money. So that's not going to change anything. You understand? It'll make you niggas happy for a little while. But like I said, you'll find a way to make problems out of that. It'll still be a problem. It's not going to change your mentality. It's not going to raise your mentality, because you have to first admit that you got a mental problem. You got to first admit that. We got a call, 706. 706, you're on the air. Moving a little slow. 706. Call back 706. You went out. Call back in 706. Like I said, we got to admit that we got a problem with that. That is going to be the death of our people. We're not going to move ahead. Like I said, you got people who don't care whether their children are educated. You understand? You got people that don't care about building a school system for their own children. They rather have big screen TVs in their house. They rather have furniture, $1,000 furniture and things like that. They rather have that. They rather have material trappings than to educate their babies. They go to public school. To hell with that. That's pride and ego. That's what our people suffer from. I had to do a broadcast on this, and I had to focus the Supermen, Superwomen Project, the next session of the Supermen, Superwomen Project here in New York, which is going to be taking place on June 24th. I had to do something. I wanted to focus on it, because without starting to remove that from the people, without starting to attract people who are ready to remove that and totally trust in our people. You understand? Where you trust in the white man, because a lot of our people will say, Oh, they don't, they don't want to trust in other black people and whatnot. Like I said, if we move into a higher frequency, if we thinking on a higher level, no, you're not being asked to trust in black people. You're being asked to trust in bright people, intelligent people, people like yourself. Because we tell people all the time, and I'm trying to, weed that out of the people that come to get rid of the ego and get rid of the pride and start as people who are blank, who have no preconceived notions, who have nothing to cling on to in that way of thinking from the last millennium. That's what I ask people to do. That's how we're going to be able to move ahead, advance. That's how we're going to be able to alter our situation. That's the only way this is going to be possible. I want to focus on being bigger than what I am. I want to focus on being bigger, not smaller. We should be focused on being bigger as a people collectively. Puts me in mind this song from Erykah Badu, 20 Feet Tall. We'll be right back. Can we actually imagine being part of something where we are totally not focused on, being individuals and, and all that? Can we actually be part of something where we focused on the group? Think about that, how it would be, because we already know how it is to be selfish. We already know how it is to be egotistical. We already know how it is. We understand it full throttle how it is to just be all about us. We already know how that is. We already know how it is to just be focused on us. We don't know how it is to be, totally not focused on ego or not focused on pride. We don't know how it is to totally have a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We don't really know how that is. Like family. We really don't understand that. That's what we need to get toward again in order to make it and survive, where we depending on one another. We don't need a religion to foster that in our people. We don't need that. We need an intelligence to foster that in our people. Where we want just as much for ourselves as we want for our brother and sister. We need that. That's what we advocate in the state of mental. That's what I want to push. Because that's the only way it's going to work for our people. That's the only way that's going to cement people together and have a working group, a working collective, a working family. Not a bunch of people that's just off in the populace. Because I was talking to the sister one time. I said, what's out here for us? The intelligent ones of our people who don't want to join these organizations, don't want to be part of these religious groups and black organizations, but we have intelligence, we have sense, we have a want to be together with like-minded people. What's out here for us? If we ain't got the preacher hustling us, or the imam or the reverend, or being in these groups of some tight-ass religion telling us we got to come in the image of somebody else, or we got to act like these people, we got to act like the Arabs, we got to act like the black version of these people, or the black version of the Christians, or the Muslims, or the Arab, or the Israelites, the Jews, or we talking some black power revolutionary nonsense, and what becomes of these people who want to see the evolution of our people, an intelligent evolution, a mental evolution for the babies in the future, people who thinking for the future and thinking of the bigger picture? What comes of those people who can't find that in these movements, in these organizations? Because we're the only ones in the state of MENTELLECT thinking about the future. We're a future intelligence group. We're not interested in nothing going on now. I mean, we dealing with things now, but our focus, the best way to get ahead of things in your present state is by focusing on the future, because then everything that's in the present state blows past you like it's nothing. Things become smaller as you focus on the bigger picture, which is the future. That's reality. That's how I live my life. That's why everyday problems don't bother me. I don't get caught up. You understand? I don't got time for people's ego. Me, myself, I don't have time for people's egos. I exhausted my ego. At least I'm trying. I'm pushing like hell to exhaust my ego. I'm pushing like hell to exhaust my pride. This is a broadcast right here. Everybody loves my other broadcast under. This is something it should be focused on. See, a lot of times the things that should be focused on, our people don't focus on. They focus on the things that, the things that's based in drama, the things that's based in, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be some chaos, some conflict and some chaos, some nonsense. We need to focus on the things that are gonna make us better, really, as a people. Things that internalize us. These are the things that internalize us. Pride and ego. These are the things that come back to all of that. Why we don't succeed. That's like a weight on our goddamn backs. And I know to a lot of people, this ain't the bomb show. This ain't the. That's cool. Maybe, like I said, the people who will listen to it again, the people who listen to it later, or the people who listening to it now is going to get something from this. Because, like I said, I gave the State of Mentel as our answer to everything. The SOM.info. Go to the About Us section. Future Intelligence Group. Advance the intelligence of our people. That's why I do this broadcast. That's why I speak on what I speak on all these topics. Why I'm releasing these, like a brother said to me, I found it funny, a brother by the name Jermaine Smith, a listener from Virginia. He said, brother, you releasing these, you releasing these things, these broadcasts like mix CDs. And I thought it was funny because I was at the time, because that's what's flowing through me, to push this intelligence to my people so that we can come together and move to the next level, because there's nothing else out here for us. The intelligent ones of our people. There's nothing but ignorance out here. Like I said, it's going to come a time where the ignorant ones that look like us within the so-called black race are going to turn on us. Sister said something to me. She said, you got to be careful, the animals, they outnumber us. The black and white animals outnumber us, because we got some black animals, a lot of black animals, a lot of white animals. They outnumber the bright ones, the bright people. They outnumber us. Hell, at least the Illuminati, they could sit somewhere, in a secluded place. They ain't got to worry about that. They just sit and watch the animals interact. They watch all this. They sit in a secluded places and watch. They probably laughing their ass off. But we are amongst people who are driven by that, who feed on pride and ego. Like animals feeding on prey. They feed on pride and ego. And that's real. They feed on pride and ego that, and this mentality that was just bred in our people in this society. I said that in Facebook. I said that these mentalities that they have, that they're proud and egotistical about, are not even their personalities. These are personalities that were brought up, that were manufactured in this society. You understand? The hip hop dude, the thug missus, whatever you niggas calling yourself in the black community, that do or die chick, all that stuff that was manufactured and y'all take. That's not who you are. Majority of our people, they proud and they egotistical because there's nothing to fill that space. They don't really know who they are. They haven't had a chance to find out because they've been preached to. They've been told this is who you are. They have not had a chance to develop into who they are. That's what I wanted to stay away from, and we wanted to make sure we stayed away from in the State of Mentel. That was that telling people who they are and trying to develop people into, what they're going to become. Don't tell people to be in the image of anybody. Like how the Christians tell you to be in the image of Jesus, and the Muslims tell you to follow the image of Muhammad and all these other people. But what about you? Who are you? Who are you? Who do you register as? You understand? Be egotistical in that. Be egotistical in trying to find out who you are. That's what we said, the supreme side of you, the higher side of you, the higher self. Because the higher self represents greater dimensions of you. This is not no abstract teaching or talking. This is real. The real you is higher dimensions of you, higher parts of yourself. That's who you are, not the lower side, not the side where you the egotistical, proud person in this society where you are individual. That's not who you are. That's who this society made you into. You're supposed to be on a journey to finding out who you are. And that's what we dedicated within the State of Mentel, finding out and focusing totally on who we are advancing to as intelligent people in a collective. You understand that? who we really are. You got people that's sitting up here taking up the Scientology thing and trying to figure themselves out. And y'all, and still again, you letting here still again, you letting people dictate to you who you are within that thing. White people, nonetheless. When the basis of who you are is right at your fingertips, but like I said, we have to walk into it as a people. Because 9 times out of 10, if you don't fit into any of those movements, if you feel like you above these people that are on this submental state, which is the rest of the population, the black race, and the people the stuff our people are falling into on that low submental state where all you niggas is talking about is sports and clothes and money and whatever y'all talking about, all that stuff that's fed by that submental mindset and all that low frequency, all that stuff that's fed by or consciousness or Pan-African, whatever you talking about in this society that's fed by that pride and that ego and all that nonsense, things that are not developing who you are moving forward into the future. 9 times out of 10, if you don't fit into any of these things, if you've outgrown these things, then you've come into a state of who you are mentally. You're trying to find that out. And we submit the state of mental. Go to the SOM.info, those of you who are listening. Those aren't people who are looking for drama. Like I said, like I said, go down the dial for the few minutes we got left. Questions and comments. We got a few minutes left. We always get the people that's calling in here at the last minute. All right? We had a 706 call in, but I don't know, they hung up. Like I said, I know a lot of people are doing the Labor Day thing, and I'm like, wow. I really didn't think the people that listened to this broadcast, they did the and I see our usuals in here, our usual people, the usual suspects in here. But the majority of the people who, they out Labor Day in the park barbecuing, like I said, right on cue. Right on cue. Wednesday, we're going to be doing the last millennium or the end to the last movement, the last movements of the last century. A lot of these black movements, the end of all these last millennium or last century movements. All these old doctrines and philosophies. We're going to talk about how come they can't work in this new millennium. What will work for our people? We're going to talk about an end to all of those things. Because, most of these things came as they were meant to be an evolution to something else. So now they've outlived their usefulness. We're going to talk about that on the next State of Mentel Radio Wednesday. The next Superman, Superwoman project, which will be taking place in New York City, will be on June 24th. Look for us on Facebook to talk about it more. We'll be posting up on the SOM.info. It's all about mental evolution, people. So, no more questions. I am the intellectual Nuben Minkare. Yes, it has been a slow night, but I don't care. I said I'm going to still produce on the nights I'm going to produce. Join us Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Good night.